Hi, good evening. My name is María Isabel Flores, and this is my event 3 of Contemporary World. So let's start. First, we have the most important events of the last decades. The fall of Berlin Wall. On November 9 of 1989, the Berlin Wall was demolished, which divided the German capital Berlin for almost 3 decades because of political differences, giving way to German unification and also the end of the Cold War. The disintegration of the Soviet Union. On December 25 of 1991, Mikhail Gorbachev resigned the presidency, and a day later, the disintegration of the Soviet Union was decided, being some reasons the implementation of glasnost and perestroika, the war in Afghanistan, and the arms race of the Cold War. Attack on the Twin Towers. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 4 planes were hijacked by members of the terrorist group Al-Qaeda. 2 of these hitting the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, another hitting the Pentagon, and the last one did not reach its target, crashing in Pennsylvania. Then the arrival of the man on the moon, Apollo 11. On June 20, 1969, the American Apollo 11 mission led Commander Neil Armstrong and pilot Edwin F. Aldrin to be the first men to set foot on the moon, being broadcast on television and being seen by 600 million people. The creation of the World Wide Web. Its development was between March 1989 and December 1990 by Tim Berners-Lee and Belgian Robert Caillier, creating a global information medium that can be accessed with a computer connected to the internet to have access to a lot of information of all kinds. Next, the beginning of social networks. Its true beginning was in 1995 with the emergence of the internet, and in 2004 with the arrival of Facebook, it forever changed our ways of interacting socially. The COVID-19 pandemic. At the beginning of 2020, a virus was unleashed all over the world. It started a pandemic that has taken many lives and that continues today, stopping the world economy and changing everyone's daily life. The U.S. invasion of Afghanistan. At the end of 2001, the United States invaded Afghanistan with the aim of destroying the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, removing the Taliban, and remaking their nation. Then we have the presidency of Donald Trump. His presidency began on January 2017, and it brought different things that were quite doubtful, such as his problem with migration and his prohibitions on treaties related to the environment and more. The trade war between China and the United States. It is a commercial conflict that started in March 2018 after Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese products. Now we're going to talk about what is globalization, and this is a process of relationship and exchange between companies, people, and governments of different countries of the world. In what is invested the most is trade, investment, international relationship, transport, and new technologies. Or this may even be with fashion, famous songs, social networks, and more examples from our daily lives. Now, our next concept is terrorism. It is a form of political struggle that involves violence, which aims to destroy the established order or seeks to create terror and insecurity susceptible to intimidating adversaries or the population in general. Next, we have unipolar world. This is a distribution of power when there is only one great power that has the greatest influence culturally, economically, and militarily, without having a competition as such. But in the event that another power were to appear, it will no longer be unipolar. And the last concept that we're going to touch today is digital era. This is the current era that offers a virtual space such as the internet, counting on fast virtual communications, changing our way of living and interacting. Now we're going to answer to some questions. The first one is, Why did globalization emerge? It mainly arises from the conquest and migrations, but over time it became more of a need for countries to exchange resources and be able to commercialize their gross domestic products more. Since if you think about it, everyone wins, since it is like a barter, as well as the media and transportation were a great influence. Next question. In most cases, what caused the terrorist attacks of the 20th century? Since 1960, terrorism has had a very large increase, and in my opinion, these attacks are mainly due to the fact that the terrorists were not satisfied with some democratic governments and felt stronger seeking to impose their power and mandate, causing fear in people to impose more easily. Since violence is very characteristic of the terrorism, knowing that without it, no one will follow them. Now, how does the end of the Cold War relate to the unipolar world? During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were the major powers, being a bipolar world. But at the end of this war, the Soviet Union fell, so the only remaining power was the United States. So the world became unipolar, having an imposed presence. And our last question is, how has the digital era influenced today's society? In my opinion, the digital age has influenced our society in every way, and this is more remarkable if we see our daily life, which seems to depend on technology and electronic devices such as cell phones, computers, tablets, and more, which are in charge of connect us to the current world and more with this pandemic. So it can be said that the digital age modified even education and ways of working. And not only that, but also the coexistence between people, which is already by messages or video calls, without have to have the need to have the person you want to talk in front of you. And that is all. I hope you learn a lot and that you like it. Here you can see my reference, and that's all. So, bye.